Welcome along to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
If you're trying to get your head around the latest moves in the Wallabies coaching setup, well, you've come to the right place today.
Absolutely. We're digging into the news around Joe Schmidt.
Yeah, specifically his confirmed role leading up to the 2027 Rugby World Cup, and crucially, the announcement of who's taking over from him. We're drawing on a recent Planet Rugby article for this.
It's a big development. Provides some much-needed clarity, actually.
It does. And look, if you want more insights like this, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession. We cover all sorts of rugby topics.
Definitely worth doing. So this article, it confirms the plan, right? Schmidt was initially said to finish up after the 2025 Rugby Championship.
That was the original idea, yeah.
But now he's agreed to extend that. He'll stay on as head coach until the middle of 2026.
Okay, so an extra sort of half season plus.
Pretty much. And then Les Kiss, who's currently heading up the Queensland Reds, of course he steps in.
And he'll take the reins right through to the 2027 World Cup on home soil.
That's the plan. A clear pathway laid out.
Right. So let's get into the why behind Schmidt stepping back from the main role then. The article mentions his family.
Yeah, it does. It highlights his desire to, spend more time with his family. That's a key factor.
And it mentions his son's epilepsy diagnosis, which happened when he was quite young, 4 years old.
Exactly. It really underlines the personal side of these decisions, doesn't it? It's not always just about the rugby.
No, absolutely. And you often forget that aspect in professional sport. What's encouraging, though, is how Schmidt feels about this handover.
Yeah, he seems genuinely positive. He's quoted saying he's really happy with the outcome, calls it a great outcome for him and his family.
Which is great to hear. He also said that staying on for that bit longer until mid-2026 didn't feel like too much of a stretch.
Right. It suggests the timing works for him, personally and professionally. He also mentioned, how much he's enjoyed working with the current staff and players.
Yeah, that came across. Sounds like a good setup there.
And look, a really big piece of this puzzle seems to be the relationship between Schmidt and Les Kiss.
Ah, right. They go way back, don't they?
They do. Close friends. They work together with the Ireland national team. Kiss was Schmidt's assistant for a while there.
Before Kiss went to Ulster as director of rugby, yeah.
Exactly. So knowing that Kiss, someone he knows and trusts so well, was lined up to take over, well, that clearly made extending his own stay and the whole transition a lot easier for Schmidt.
Yeah, you can see how that would provide a lot of comfort, a sense of continuity, shared understanding, perhaps.
Definitely. And the article sort of touches on the timing again. Schmidt felt the extension wasn't a massive leap because he was already committed through the 25 Rugby Championship anyway.
Okay, so it wasn't like adding years onto the end, just extending what was already there.
Sort of, yeah. Plus that friendship factor with Kiss and the support from Rugby Australia to help him get his family over to Sydney more often, it all plays into finding a better balance.
Which is what he seems to be aiming for, supporting his wife and son more.
It looks like a really considered approach from Rugby Australia, too, balancing the team's needs, the World Cup build-up, and, the coach's personal life.
It does suggest some thoughtful planning. Now, looking further ahead to the 2027 World Cup itself, the article says Schmidt isn't planning a formal role.
No, not formally involved. But, and I think this is really interesting, he said he's open to being a, quote, sounding board.
For friends in coaching roles. So presumably for Kiss.
You'd imagine. So, yeah, he stressed it would be more friendship-oriented, not a paid professional gig, just lending an ear, offering advice, maybe.
That's a nice touch, staying connected through those relationships.
And it shows his passion for the game hasn't gone away. He talks about rugby's interdependence and real teamwork. That connection still matters to him.
So he'll still be invested, just maybe from the sidelines, informally.
That seems to be the idea. An incredibly valuable resource to have around, even unofficially.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears a bit to the immediate future. The challenges coming up, the article doesn't shy away from that.
No, it doesn't. Schmidt himself calls the upcoming schedule intimidating.
I can see why. You've got the 3 British and Irish Lions tests next year.
Huge series. And then boom, straight into the Rugby Championship, starting with back-to-back games against the Springboks.
In South Africa.
Well,
yeah.
That's a tough run by any measure.
Intimidating is probably the right word. But how does Schmidt frame it?
Well, despite acknowledging how tough it is, he calls it a great challenge.
Right.
And crucially, he thinks the players see it that way too.
That mindset's important, isn't it? Facing it head on.
Essential when you're up against that kind of opposition. You have to embrace it.
Definitely. The Planet Rugby piece also gives a nod to some other related articles, things like Schmidt discussing players' Lions chances, selection dilemmas, the initial KISS confirmation, and even touches on RA's finances and commitment to this coaching plan.
Yeah, it all paints a fuller picture of what's happening behind the scenes.
It does. And look, we're really interested to hear what you, listening, think about all this. The Schmidt-Kiss handover, the massive challenges facing the Wallabies next year. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, definitely share your opinions.
And if you're enjoying this deep dive, please do subscribe to Rugby Obsession. It helps us keep bringing you this kind of analysis.
So overall, it feels like a pivotal moment for Australian rugby. You've got these massive immediate tests, but also, finally, a clear coaching roadmap leading to 2027.
Yeah, that stability with that Schmidt-Kiss connection underpinning it, it does offer some optimism, doesn't it?
It really does. It seems like a proactive, well-managed transition, hopefully setting them up for success.
Okay, well, that pretty much wraps up our deep dive into the Wallabies coaching announcement for today.
A lot to digest there.
Definitely. Thank you so much for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. We hope you'll join us again for our next one.
We look forward to it.
And one last reminder, hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession so you don't miss out on any future discussions.